Good morning students. Welcome to 12th standard physics class. Students, today's topic is on electromagnetic induction and alternating current. Electromagnetic means மின்காந்த தூண்டல். Induction தூண்டுதல். So the alternating current means current oda variation of direction. Introduction. In the previous chapter, we have learned that whenever an electric current flows through a conductor, it produces a magnetic field around it. This was discovered by Christian Oersted. Later, Ampere proved that a current carrying loop behaves like a bar magnet. These are the magnetic effects produced by the electric current. Physicists then began to think of the converse effect. Is it possible to produce an electric current with the help of magnetic field? A series of experiments were conducted to establish the converse effect. These experiments were done by Michael Faraday of UK and Joseph Henry of USA. Almost simultaneously, at the same time and independently. These attempts became successful and led to the discovery of phenomenon called electromagnetic induction. Michael Faraday is credited with the discovery of electromagnetic induction in 1831. Let us see a few experiments of Faraday. The results and the phenomena of electromagnetic induction. Before that, we will recollect the concept of magnetic flux linked with the surface area. Magnetic flux. The magnetic flux through an area A in a magnetic field is defined as the number of magnetic field lines passing through that area normally and is given by the equation pi b is equal to integral of vector b dot dA vector is equal to BA cos theta, where the integral is taken over the area A and theta is the angle between the direction of the magnetic field and the outward normal to the area. If the magnetic field B vector is uniform over the area A and is perpendicular to the area, then the above equation becomes pi B is equal to BA. This uniform, the perpendicular angle form ஆகும், perpendicular angle form ஆகக்கூடியது. So the SI unit of magnetic flux is Tm square. It's also measured in Weber or WB. So 1 Weber is equal to 1 Tm square. That's all. Is Faraday's experiments on electromagnetic induction. First experiment. Consider a closed circuit consisting of coil C of insulated wire and a galvanometer G. The galvanometer does not indicate deflection as there is no electric current in the circuit. When a bar magnet is inserted into the stationary coil with its north pole facing the coil, there is a momentary deflection in the galvanometer. This indicates that an electric current is set up in the coil. If the magnet is kept stationary inside the coil, the galvanometer does not indicate deflection. The bar magnet is now withdrawn from the coil. The galvanometer again gives a momentary deflection but in the opposite direction. So, the electric current flows in the opposite direction. Now, if the magnet is moved faster, it gives a large deflection due to greater current in the circuit. The bar magnet is reversed. The south pole now faces the coil. When the above experiment is repeated, the deflections are opposite to that obtained in the case of north pole. Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. From the results of his experiment, Faraday realized that whenever the magnetic flux linked with a closed coil changes an EMF, the electromotive force is induced and hence an electric current flows in the circuit. This current is called an induced current, and the EMF giving rise to such current is called an induced EMF. This phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. அதாவது இன்க்ளோஸ்டு சர்க்யூட்டில் மேக்னெட்டிக் ஃப்ளக்ஸ் சேஞ்ச் ஆகும்போது இஎம்எஃப் இன்டியூஸ் பண்ணி கரண்ட் வந்து பாஸ் ஆகும். இது இன்டியூஸ்டு கரண்ட். Based on this idea, Faraday's experiments are understood in the following way. In the first experiment, when a bar magnet is placed close to a coil, some of bar magnet is placed close to coil. Some of magnetic field lines of the bar magnet pass through the coil. When the bar magnet and the coil approach each other, the magnetic flux linked with coil increases. So, this increases in magnetic flux induces an EMF and hence a transient electric current flows. At the same time, when they recede away from one another, the magnetic flux linked with the coil decreases. The decreases in magnetic flux again induce an EMF in opposite direction, and hence an electric current flows in opposite direction. So, there is a deflection in the galvanometer when there is a relative motion between the coil and the magnet. When the primary circuit is open, no electric current flows in it, and hence the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil is zero. The conclusion of Faraday's experiments are states as two laws. First law, whenever magnetic flux linked with a closed circuit changes, an EMF is induced in the circuit. Second law, the magnitude of induced EMF in a closed circuit is equal to the time rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the circuit. Lenz's law. A German physicist, Heinrich Lenz, performed his own experiments on electromagnetic induction and deduced a law determining the direction of the induced current. This law is known as Lenz's law. Lenz's law states that the induced current produced in a circuit always flows in such a direction that it opposes the change or cause that produces it. If the coil has n number of turns and pi is the magnetic flux linked with each turn of the coil, then the total magnetic flux linked with the coil at any times is n pi. Therefore, E is equal to minus d by dt, n pi. So, E is equal to n d pi by dt is equal to minus n into pi 2 minus pi 1 by t. The negative symbol mention opposite direction. Next, Lenz's law, a consequence of conservation of energy. Consequence means effect. Okay. Faraday discovered that when magnetic flux linked with a coil changes, an electric current is induced in the circuit. Here the flux change is the cause while the induction of current is the effect. Lenz's law says that the effect always opposes the cause. Therefore, the induced current would flow in a direction so that it would oppose the change. Let us move a bar magnet towards the solenoid with its north pole pointing the solenoid. This motion increases the magnetic flux of the coil, which in turn induces an electric current. Due to the flow of induced current, the coil becomes a magnetic dipole whose two magnetic poles are on the either end of the coil. So, in this case, the cause producing the induced current is the movement of the magnet. According to Lenz's law, the induced current should flow in such a way that it opposes the movement of the north pole towards coil. It is possible if the end nearer to the magnetic becomes north pole. Then it repels the north pole of the bar magnet and opposes the movement of the magnet. Once pole ends are known, the direction of the induced current could be found by using right hand thumb rule. When the bar magnet is withdrawn, the nearer end becomes south pole, which attracts north pole of the bar magnet, opposing the receding motion of the magnet. Thus, the direction of the induced current can be formed from Lenz's law. According to Lenz's law, when a magnet is moved either towards or away from a coil, the induced current produced opposes its motion. As a result, there will always be in resisting force on the moving magnet. Next, Fleming's right hand rule. The forefinger, middle finger and thumb finger are stretched out in mutually perpendicular directions. If the index finger points the direction of the magnetic field and the thumb indicates the direction of motion of the conductor, then the middle finger will indicate the direction of the induced current. So, Fleming's right hand rule is also known as generator rule. Motional EMF from Lorentz force. A rod is placed in an external magnetic field. A force moves the rod to the right as shown in the figure. Which way will the positive or negative charge move? The action of this Lorentz force is to accumulate the free electrons at the end A. This accumulation of free electrons produces a potential difference across the rod, which in turn establishes an electric field E direct along BA. Due to the electric field E, the Coulomb force starts acting on the free electrons along AB is given. Okay. According to the open right hand rule, the Lorentz force will move the positive charge upwards and therefore the negative down. So the ball carries the charges as it moves. Because the charges move to the right, the current points to the right. When the rod moves, the free electrons present in it also move with the same velocity v in B. As a result, the Lorentz force acts on free electrons in the direction from B to A and is other one end to another end. Magnitude of electric field E keeps on increasing as long as accumulation of electrons at the end A continues. Separated charges are like a battery. There is a potential difference between the two ends of the wire. This creates an electric field between two ends. So, Fe also increases until equilibrium is reached. At equilibrium, the magnetic Lorentz force Fb and the Coulomb force Fe balance each other and no further accumulation of free electrons at the end A takes place. So, Fe negative field is equal to magnetism. This magnetic field. So, the potential difference between two ends of the rod is QE is equal to B. This velocity B. The Lorentz force on the free electrons is responsible to maintain this potential difference and hence produce an EMF. So, E is equal to VB. As this EMF is produced due to the movement of the rod, it's often called as motional EMF. If the ends A and B are connected by an external circuit of total resistance R, then current I is equal to epsilon by R. So, E is equal to V by L. So, V by L is equal to epsilon B. The direction of current is found from right hand thumb rule. Final equation V is equal to L epsilon B. Next, motional EMF from Faraday's law and energy conservation. Let us consider a rectangular conducting loop of with L in the uniform magnetic field B vector, which is perpendicular to the plane of the loop and is directed inwards. A part of the loop is in the magnetic field, while the remaining part is outside the field. When the loop is pulled with a constant velocity v to the right, the area of the portion of the loop within the magnetic field will decreases. Thus, the flux linked with the loop will also decreases. According to Faraday's law, an electric current is induced in the loop which flows in a direction so as to oppose the pull of the loop. Let x be the length of the loop which is still within the magnetic field. Then its area is Lx. The magnetic flux linked with the loop is pi b is equal to integral of b vector dot dA is equal to BA cos theta. Here the rectangular loop induction. Okay. So here theta is equal to 0 degree. Magnetic field and length is perpendicular one to another. So here theta formed. So here theta value 0 degree and cos theta 1. Okay. So pi b is equal to BLX in rectangular BLX. Okay. As this magnetic flux decreases due to the movement of the loop, the magnitude of the induced EMF is given by epsilon is equal to d pi b by dt is equal to d by dt BLX. Here both b and L are constants. Therefore, epsilon is equal to BL dx by dt. So, epsilon is equal to BL B. Here induced EMF. This is induced EMF. So, d by b dt integral after integral pi b is equal to integral of vector b dot dA vector. So, here we substitute this value. Theta is equal to 0, cos theta is equal to 1. Okay. So, pi b is equal to BA. Pi b is equal to BLX. So, epsilon is equal to d by dt BLX. So, last value epsilon is equal to BL dx by dt is equal to BL B. Next, E is equal to dx by dt is the velocity of the loop. This EMF is known as motional EMF since it is produced due to the movement of the loop in the magnetic field. So, from Lenz's law, it's found that the induced current flows in clockwise direction. If R is the resistance of the loop, then the induced current is given by I is equal to induced EMF by R. So, R means resistance. So, I is equal to BLV by R. Here energy conservation in order to move the loop with a constant velocity V, a constant force that is equal and opposite to the magnetic force must be applied. Therefore, mechanical work is done to move the loop. Then the rate of doing work or power is P is equal to F dot V is equal to Fe cos theta. Now, let us find the magnetic force acting on the loop due to its movement in the magnetic field. Let three deflecting forces F1, F2, F3 be acting on the three segments of the loop. The general equation of each deflecting force is given by Fd is equal to ILB. So, here force and displacement. Force F2 and F3 are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction and cancel each other. Therefore, the force F1 alone acts on the left segment of the loop in a direction. So, F1 is equal to IL into vector B. Here, theta is the angle between vector B and the length vector L. For the left segment it is 90 degree. By F1 ILB sin 90 degree is equal to ILB because sin 90 degree is equal to 1. The applied force vector F must be equal to F1 in order to just move the loop with a constant velocity V. So, F is equal to minus F1. So F and minus F1 are opposite directions. Considering only the magnitudes, F is equal to F1 is equal to ILB. Substituting for I from equation, F is equal to BLV by R into LB. So F is equal to B square L square V square by R. From the equation, the rate at which the mechanical work is done to pull the loop from the magnetic field or power is given by P is equal to B square L square V by R into V. So P is equal to B squared L squared V squared by R. The final equation, P is equal to B squared L squared V squared by R. This equation is exactly same as the equation. Thus the mechanical work done in moving the loop appears as thermal energy in the loop. Okay students, that's all for today's class. Today's homework. Students, repeatedly watch the video and learn the lesson properly. Read and understand the questions and answers. And then write the answers 3 times in your classwork note. After writing, send me the answers to my WhatsApp number. Students, read and write the questions with answers thoroughly. Thank you students. Wish you all success. God bless.